Hey, hi everybody. So in this recording, we'll be discussing about head tags in HTML over here. That's nothing but we'll be getting started with the HTML complete stuffs today. So we'll just go ahead here and we will understand we have two bifurcations in the HTML over here, a head tag and the other one called as a body. But in this recording, we'll be covering the total concepts of our head tag over here. Okay, so first thing, I am just going and having a file created with a name called as headtag.html. Again, you can have whatsoever file name as per your convenience. Since we are addressing about head tag in this recording, so I just created a file with the head tag as a name over here. But the extension called as .html is a mandatory. The way how we have something called .mp3 extensions for your songs and .mp4 extensions for your video and .java for Java coding language or .py for Python. In a similar way, we do have something called .html for your HTML coding language. Now the question comes, do we need to write all this code in the VS Code editor only? No. As of now, in this recording, I'm using VS Code, but we are open to use any sort of editors over here. It can be your simple notepad, or be it your notepad++, or be it your open brackets, or be it your Sublime. Okay, so whatsoever editor you guys are okay or convenient, you can just go and use the same. But it's always better, it's always suggested to go and use VS Code. The main reason because of the different extensions and the plugins what we have here will make the developer's life much more easy over here. So now the question comes, how do we get a VS Code editor in our machine, right? So for that, we will just go to any of the browser. In this case, I am using Google over here. So I will just go ahead here and I will just write VS Code download. Okay, so let's just search for VS Code download. Okay, so I will just go and hit on VS Code download option, and I will just go with the very first option what we have over here, where we can directly go and download VS Code on our machine over here. So we can see we can directly go and download a Visual Studio Code over here. So based on your operating system, that's nothing but it can be your Windows or it can be your Unix or it can be your Mac operating system, whatsoever, we can just go and download it over here. So we have different types of extensions again. So it can be 32-bit architecture or 64-bit architecture. We can directly go and download irrespective of both over here. So I can just go ahead here and I can hit on Windows in case of Windows application. In case if you're using Mac over here, you can directly go and hit on download in this Mac option over here. So right now I'm having a downloaded application in my machine here, but still again I can just go and hit on something called Windows. Currently I'm using a Windows operating system, so I will just go and hit on this particular one and it will just start directly getting downloaded. See, it's stating okay, we are downloading of VS Code over here. So right now I already have VS Code in my machine, so I will just go and use the same over here. So once you open your VS Code, it will be looking something in a similar way. Right now I'm already having some files here, and in your case you'll not be having any files by default. So once you download, you can just click on next options and it will directly download your VS Code application over there. And finally you can hit on an option called Ctrl+N in order to create a new file. Now we can directly go ahead here and we can hit on this new file and it will just download a file application or a new file over there. Now we can still go ahead and we can hit on this file option on the top left over here and we can click on something called new file over here. Okay, either of those things. So right now I'll directly go and use this particular new over here and I created a file with headtag.html. So let me delete this thing and I just recreate once again. So in order to create, I will just delete this current one and let's say I will hit on a new file over here. I will just hit on a new file over here and I will just say the file name. Let's create a new and I just say head tag. You can write as per your convenient any sort of file name followed by .html extension, since we are here to discuss about our HTML stuffs over here. Okay, so once we have a file over here, the main thing in our HTML head application, we will be always having a HTML root tag over here. So I will just say HTML and I will just hit on enter over here. Okay, so I will just hit on enter over here. So you observed one thing, I did not even create a tag over here, nor I did not even create an opening nor a closing tag. By default, I just got this HTML closing tag over here. How was it possible? So the moment I just say HTML, and if I just hit on tab or if I hit on enter over there, so it will just create a HTML opening and closing tag. It's all because of our emmet abbreviation over here. So what is this emmet abbreviation we have here? It's a plugin basically what we use once we write a file name with a .html extension. It will understand this entire file is with respect to HTML tags and elements over here, and it will start giving all the auto pilot things over here. In the sense, all the auto closing tags and everything will be pre-cooked over here. So now the question comes, how do I get to know much more about Emmet abbreviations over here? So for that, we will just go to a browser and we'll understand what are other things we have over there. So again, I'm using Google browser over here. So I will directly hit on Emmet cheat sheet over here. So let's go with the very first one. We have a docs.emmet.io over here, where we have many different types of Emmet abbreviations what we can use in our editor over here. So we can see we have different types of syntax editors what we have for our Emmet documentation over here. NA, NAV, UL followed by LI for this particular things. For sibling plus plus, for multiplication, let's say if you want same tags for n number of times, we do have any tag name. In this case, we are using LI over here for least items into 5 stating I want it for 5 times. So on and so forth, we have many different types of such Emmet abbreviations. Again, we'll come back to this once we need in our editor over there. As of now, this is just a short documentation what we can just have some quick overview about what exactly is this Emmet abbreviation over here. So let's come back to our editor over here. So let's say HTML over here, and I will just hit on the enter, and the one what we are addressing here is all about a head tag over here, right? So I will just say head, and let's hit on enter over here. So we can just see we just got head. Again, for the same thing, with the help of our Emmet abbreviation, I got both opening as well as closing tag. Do remember, in order to get this Emmet abbreviation, you need to store your file name or save your file name with a .html extension over there. Okay, so once we have this thing, now this particular file what we are having here is being stored at some file location, right? It can be in any folder location, it can be your local disk C, D, E accordingly. So we can just use any of those particular locations. So in my case, it's in local disk D over here, stored at some point place of location. So I can directly open the output. I can just right click and I can just say copy the path over here. So whatsoever is the path, I will just copy this particular one and I will just go to my browser and I will start searching the same over there. So I'm in my browser right now. So in the search window, I'll just paste that particular link wherever is my file stored. So you can, it's in the local disk key where I created a folder called web development. Internally, we have a file called as headtag.html, the one which we created just now. So let's hit on enter and we can see it's clearly a empty file over here, right? It's clearly an empty file what we have over here. And on the top of our heading, that's nothing but on the top navigation bar over here. So where we have this particular head over here, right? We can see we have a file name here, correct? Called as headtag.html, the one which we created. The same file name is being present over here as well. That's nothing but for our tab name over here. So we can see we have something called cheat sheet, documentation for VS Code, the one other different tab names here, right? Now the question comes, how can we just change this particular tab name over here? So for that, let's just go to editor and we can just change our tab name accordingly. So right now we are within our head tag over here. So we do have certain tags over here. So all the tags what we'll be covering in the head tag for today's session will not be going to appear on your UI. That's nothing but on your web page over there. All these are something and additional information what we will be providing for the web page or for the web application what we will be building over here. Let's say I want to change the tab name over there. So for that we do have a tag called as a title. See, the moment I just say title, I just got my cursor position in between this title over here. And I just want to say our first web page. Let's say our first web page. You can just rename it as per your convenience. I just want to have a name called as our first web page over here. And let me save. So for save, I just hit on Control plus yes in order to save. And let's just go back to our browser. So in our browser, right now we have it as headtag.html. So I will just go and hit on refresh over here. So we can see our tab name just got changed as the title what we wrote in our editor, right? It just got updated to our first web page over here. So this is how you can just go and change or update your tab name with the help of a tag called as title tag in your HTML head tags. Okay, so let's go back to editor and we will just cover different types of other tags as well. Okay, so we can just see we just wrote our head and title tag and all the other different types of tags manually, right? But again, I can do one thing. I can just remove all this particular one. I can just hit on a shortcut called a shift plus negation symbol and you can see I got a documentation of that entire HTML over here, right? We can see we got that Emmet abbreviation again and it's clearly stating if you hit on tab or enter, this is the following structure what you'll be getting in your application. So let's click on the same, and we can see we got some good amount of code on the screen, right? So we can see again the body has been totally blank here. We don't have anything. That's the reason your UI or the output will still remains blank. At the same point of time, we can just see we have something called not of doc type HTML as the starting of your entire HTML application over here. So this will gonna indicate that we are using HTML 5th version over here, or any version which is greater than or equal to 5th version. Now, what was the version before we had, or prior we had to something called version 5, right? And prior to version 5, we had some lengthy kind of doc type over there. So for that, again, we can just go and we can browse that as well. Okay, so I can just go to my browser over here and I'll just start searching HTML4 doc type. And let's hit on enter, and I just go with the W3 schools or anything accordingly. So let's just go with any one of this particular one. So I'll just go with the org site only. So we can just see if I just start scrolling all the way towards down here. So this is how we had prior over there. Okay, we used to write not of doc type HTML public followed by such a lengthy URL over there. But right now we don't need to do any such things since we are in HTML 5th version. A very short not of doc type followed by HTML is more than sufficient what we have in our editor as of now. So this is a very simple line indicating we are the 5th version of our HTML. And going forward, we have a main root tag called as HTML, and within that we do have an attribute, right? So where attribute is something which provides certain additional information for our current tag or an element, and it's always present within an opening tag only. And we do have an attribute with a keyword called as lang is equals to en, right? Which simply states we are using a language of English version over here. We are using a language of English version over here, where en stands for English version. Okay, so you can just hover on this thing, it will just define it very clearly. It helps to define the language of an element over here. And the next tag what we have here is indicating about something called meta tags over here, right? So meta tags are mainly used in order to get some good information about your web page. It's basically used from your web browser. It can be it your Chrome or Mozilla or Firefox or Safari or whatsoever. These are basically used in order to get some good search engine operations. Basically, when you search your web application, these are something what makes your search engines appear on the top of those particular things. Okay, so the very first one, we do have a meta char set is equals to UTF-8 over here, right? Which basically indicates we are using a character set of UTF-8 encoding over here, which simply means each and every character what we'll be building over here will be having certain character encoding set done over there. It can be also your emojis or whatsoever. For all of those particular things, we'll be following certain UTF encoding what we have over here. So if we just hover on the same, you will get a total description about that particular UTF-8 recording over here. Okay, this is the kind of encoding what our web page will gonna follow over here. And the next meta tag what we have here, we have again a key value pair called as name is equals to viewport, which simply indicates we are defining what is the total viewport or what is the view area of your web page what we are building over here. So we are saying the content value over here for this viewport, the width will be always your device width. So whatever device width we are using right now, basically it will gonna take the entire width of your device, and the initial scale of your web application or your web page will be 1.0, indicating the zoom level will be by default 1.0 when you build your application over here. Again, is this the only two meta tags what we have? No, we have many different types of meta tags which are basically again used in order to get some good search engine results, followed by educating your browser what exactly is this website. For all those particular things, we'll be using our meta tags over here. We can also call them as metadata, indicating data about the data. So let's go to browser and find one good example for the same over here. So let's go to my browser over here. Again, I'm using Google, and let's say I want to search for Wikipedia over here. Let's search Wikipedia and I just hit on enter. So I just go and hit on the same Wikipedia over here. And let me just wait for the application to load. Yes, finally it's loaded. So I will right click on this particular browser over here, and we do have different types of commands over here. We do have something called inspect, also called as the developers tool. Again, we'll come back to this at a later point of time. Right now, I will just go and hit on something called view page source code, or you can directly run the command called Ctrl+U. So let's hit on view page source over here in order to understand the character set of this particular entire application. So we can see the very first one. Again, it's saying not of doc type HTML, indicating fifth version, followed by language is equals to EN. And we can see we have different types of meta tags here, right? See, again a meta tag with charset UTF-8 encoding, followed by, if we just go all the way towards bottom, we have again one more meta tag with name is equals to viewport, followed by, again they're using the same initial scaling what we have over here, and these will be used in any sort of such applications over here. Okay, these will be used in any such similar applications over here. Okay, similarly we do see we have one more meta tag here with a name as description and content as called as Wikipedia is a free online encyclopedia, right? Basically, again, this meta tag is just to educate your browser, indicating what is the role of this particular web page. Okay, this will increase a good result in your search engine operation as well. Okay, that's nothing but when we just go and search something on the browser, if we have any sort of keywords which is getting matched over here, it will be going to appear on your first result in your search engine operation. Now we can just go and get some insights how exactly this content or this particular description will be helpful when we are searching or when we are doing some search operations over there. So for that, I will be just going to my browser again, and I will just search Wikipedia again over here. And if you can see, before hitting on Wikipedia, we have a clear description, right? Wikipedia is a free online encyclopedia created and edited by volunteers around us, right? If I just go back over here, see, that's the same content what we have over here. So this indicates that we are good in building our search engine operations. That's nothing but it's really helpful when we are browsing certain things or when we are working on certain stuffs with respect to our search engine operations over there. Okay, so similarly we have different types of things. If we can see, we do have something called meta tags again here with OG, right? So what's this OG over here? OG basically stands for Open Graph Tags over here. It's an Open Graph Protocol tag. What is this all about and why do we really need this thing? So let's say if you're sending or if you're sharing certain links with your friends, okay, be it on your WhatsApp or be it any other social media like LinkedIn or your Twitter or in Instagram or whatsoever, when you're sharing certain website, right, you will always get some image on the top of that website. You'll get some header, you'll get some title followed by some description for those images on the share option, right? Let's say if I'm sharing one of the Wikipedia or if I'm sharing one of the link with my friends on my WhatsApp, the moment I copy the link and if I paste it in my friend's WhatsApp chat, I will get some image on the top over there, right? It's all because of this particular OG over there. Okay, so for that, let's go and again get some insights about OG meta tags as well. Okay, so let's come back to a browser and I will just search for OG meta tags over here. Let's hit on enter. And then we can see we have Open Graph meta tags, everything you need to know over here. So we can just go and click on the same in order to understand, or we can just go with any such different types of blocks in order to know much more about your OG tags over here. Okay, let's see if I can get any good image over here so that I can just show for you guys directly. Okay, so let's go with this particular example. So you can just see when they are sharing some image on the Facebook here, right? This is the image what you'll be getting on the top of that particular link, and you will be having some image followed by some OG title followed by the description what you'll be getting on the top of your link over there, right? Let's say if I'm sharing some link or some Wikipedia or some any sort of URL on my Facebook or any other application, I will get this OG image on the top. I will get this title followed by this description over there. How is it all possible? It's all possible with the help of this particular OG tags over there. See, we do have a property called as OG followed by URL. We are saying for this URL we need this particular content. So I'm defining over here. So what's the title you need for that particular image? So this is the title what I wish. So if I share this particular link, Wikipedia link, with any of my friends, they will get this title on the URL stating Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. And you can even define the type saying it's a website. You can write a description as well saying OG description with any sort of information over there. You can even specify what image you need to get over there. So in this case, they are clearly depicting we need a OG image for this particular one Wikipedia with this particular image. So this is a PNG over here, and again you can have anything of your choice as well. So if I just go and open this particular one, it should be good enough to load your image accordingly on the screen. See, if we just copy paste and hit on that URL, so this is the image what we are getting with the help of that particular OG image over there. That's nothing but our encyclopedia image over here. So that's about your OG tags what we have in our HTML head tags. Again, this is the only tags what we have in the HTML over here. No, we do have many different types of tags. But basically, these are the different types of tags which we basically use in order to educate our browser, indicating what we are dealing over there. Okay, indicating what we are dealing over there. So again, we do have different types of tags such as script, and we do have different types of tags in order to link our CSS. We have a link tags, we have a script tags in order to add our JS files. Okay, and so on and so forth. We do have different types of tags. As of now, yeah, this is what all we will be covering in our head tags over here. Again, all these meta tags and all these particular things is a single go over here. We'll be writing it only for the first go over here. We'll not be writing it again and again. It's just for a single time in order to educate about your browser. So that's it in this recording. We'll get back again proceeding with the body tags and other different types of tags in HTML. So thank you all.